What's up guys, Ben Hess here with Epidemic, and today we're going over one of Hollywood's best kept secrets, negative fill. I recently made a video on why you should be shooting on the shadow side of the face. And if you haven't seen it, we're gonna link it below, but the cliff notes is it makes your footage and your subject look that much more cinematic because you're adding in depth and contrast to your scene. And this video is gonna be a sequel to that video. You've probably heard of fill, which is essentially using a bounce to bounce light onto your subject. This right here is a poster board, and essentially if you just hold it like this, you can see much more light is hitting this side of the face. And while that look is desirable for a lot of people, I love more contrast like this. A lot of times though, you're not gonna get that natural shadow on this side of the face, and so negative fill is adding that in there. And I'm gonna show you a few accessories you can use to get negative fill. All right, let's dive in. Okay, so we're in my buddy Justin's studio because it's very well lit, and I wanted to show you just how you can use negative fill in this scenario where it's really bright, the light is very even. That way you can start to get that nice shadow on one side of the face. And just so you can see where we're at, I've got my red right here. We're gonna be using that to showcase the negative fill and how it's gonna work. There's 4 different things you can use to have negative fill, and we're gonna go over them right now. And first, let's go over what they use in Hollywood. This right here is a flag. It's basically black fabric, very thick. The best part is it's on a wire frame, so you can essentially mount it to a C-stand. So, so it's on a C-stand, you can tighten it up, and you can basically adjust it precisely where you need to, and it's gonna hold its shape. And the cool part is they come in a lot of different shapes and sizes. You've got this little square one right here, or almost square, and then watch this one. This thing is huge. So it's called a floppy technically because it can flop open to be this huge way to block light. The trick is you want to move it as close into the frame as possible, but without entering the frame. Here we are. I have this negative fill angled so we're not getting any sort of light blocking. This is how it looks right out of the camera, and now right about there we go. So that is going to be negative fill with a flag. Just for the heck of it, I'm going to throw this floppy on there and see what we can do. Whew. As you can see, this thing is pretty tall. There we go. And what's really cool, if you want to block light overhead, kind of hard to do this with one person, as you can tell. Now you essentially have like this little fort. It's kind of cool, actually. Oh gosh. Wow, so you could really tell the difference. It's gonna be much more of a wraparound. All right, there we go. Those you're gonna see used in Hollywood quite a bit on any professional sets. I use them quite a bit as well, but you can also use some very simple filmmaking gear that you probably have, such as a 5-in-1 reflector. So they always come with a black side, as you can tell. Usually they have a little, I don't know what you would call this, like a hook or something like that, but basically on a light stand, it's gonna hang just like that. Raise it up, and sometimes it'll kind of sway side to side. You just gotta adjust it so it stays put, basically. But there you go, you got yourself negative fill. And also a blanket. How you're gonna be able to use negative fill with this is you have to have a light stand that can have a pole extended to it. Screw this on there. So now this, you can pretty much clamp your light right on. Okay, boom. Oh shoot, my clamp just broke. Whatever. It can still kind of slide around, so I always like to do a 3rd clamp right on the actual light stand. Get yourself a black blanket, and you've got yourself a very inexpensive way to do negative fill. All right, so this is blanket negative fill. Works fantastic. So a lot of those things can be a little bit big and tricky to maneuver, especially when you're in crammed spaces. So that is why I recommend just a black poster board. This will work perfectly. Pretty much, you're just gonna take this, and without anything, here we go. Boom, that is negative fill right there. And what's super nice is you can mount this to literally like any light stand. You could have someone hold it for you, super convenient to use. And side note, anytime you're putting something up that's heavy, use a sandbag. I'd highly recommend getting some clamps. These are super great to mount either a blanket, your 5-in-1 reflector, or your cardboard to a light stand, or pretty much anything. Now that I've shown how to use negative fill in a studio session, let's use some negative fill outdoors. All right, so we're at a park right now, it's sunset time, and essentially I'm gonna do the exact same thing. Get yourself a light stand, C-stand in this case, and let's clamp down a 5-in-1 diffusion. So, got my clamps. These things can kind of slide off easy. So, like the blanket, I like to clamp on the actual stand. I'm gonna turn my red on right here and let's see how it looks. Okay, so we're gonna swivel the negative fill in. All right, so go for it. Bring it out just a little bit. Oh yeah, there we go. Swivel it back. So as you can see, much less contrast, not as much depth or dimension to the face. So we'll do it one more time. Go for it. Boom, and let's act like we're getting a close-up. So much more shadow on this side. Just helps give more depth, like I said, in dimension to the face. Okay, so unfortunately you cannot do this while walking. No, I'm totally kidding, of course you can. So what you do is you just walk with the negative fill as your subject is moving. So let's do an example right now. I'm walking right now and pretty much got my negative fill going right next to me the entire time. And this is seriously how they do it in the movies. Now take it away, Joseph. Oh yeah, put it back. Take it away, put it back. Oh yeah, that is perfect, okay. So it's sunset time, and as you can see, my face looks pretty just even all around, but here I've got Serena. She's holding the black poster board. So this is out of frame and now in frame. So much more depth. So with and without. One more time, with, there we go, and without. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video on negative fill. And to recap, essentially you're gonna choose a black object such as a blanket, a 5-in-1 bounce, a flag or a floppy, or even a black poster board. And you're gonna put that on a stand or hold it there so you can get negative fill. I'd keep your negative fill object right out of frame, but if it's too much black, you can always back off just a little bit until you get the desired look. And that's about it. So if you have any questions, drop them below. I'll be sure to answer all of them, and see you guys on the next one. You can either just, hello? Oh, is it focusing? Okay, now it's focusing.